All right, this is just a little bonus video I'm making. Outside of just the normal stuff I get every month, I do get things just on the side that I've picked up as I kind of go down some rabbit holes of books or just other stuff I want to get to add to my collection. So this is a few things I've picked up outside of that. So first up, I got this Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin by Yoshikazu Yasuhiko. I'm definitely his last name wrong. But he's the concept artist, character artist on the original Mobile Suit Gundam. And, you know, he's not retired, but he basically went back and he's redone the entire anime as a 12-volume manga. What I really like here is there's some really nice like watercolor pages in this, which is good. I like that. I wish most of this book was like that, but, you know, it's manga. Mostly just duotone, black and white. No problems there. Like I said, there's 12 volumes of this. Pretty good so far. Most of my exposure to Gundam growing up was just watching Gundam Wing as a kid, but I love a good collection, and I thought this was a really cool idea that the concept character artist, went back and kind of retold it, so pick these up. They're all hardcovers, so I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, and I was going to kind of hold off on getting these originally, but I just had this feeling that they were going to stop printing these. I couldn't find any reason why they were going to, but it's just, when you have a hardcover collection as nice as these are, by the time you usually try to get them, they're out of print and then the price goes up. So I figured, well, while they're still reasonably priced, and before I know they're officially out of print, I'll just pick this stuff up. Plus, the company Vertical, who published this, I've never really heard of them, so I did not want to take the chance and it just like disappearing. And then again, having to hunt it down book by book would be a real pain, which leads me to the next one I picked up. Invincible, the Ultimate Collection. So I mentioned in a couple of my monthly pickups, I got a collection of graphic novels from a coworker, and I probably had close to like 30 books I kept, probably another 30 that I've donated. But what was in there was the Invincible Ultimate Collection. He had the first 3 volumes all in really good shape. In fact, volume 3 was still in its wrapper. It hadn't even been opened up yet, which really surprised me. But there was a lot of books like that in that collection that they had not opened up. So I was like, well, I really like Invincible. I think it's one of the best kind of modern superhero origins and stories. So I figured, well, why don't I just get the rest of them? So I looked into it, and there's, again, 12 volumes. So I started to hunt them all down. Found a really good deal on half of what was missing. And then the other half I just tracked down through like eBay and Amazon. The one that was out of print, because some of these are still in print, you can get them, but number 7 was actually the hardest to find. And this one I actually picked up on eBay, found a pretty decent price. It's a little worn. This is actually from a library. I don't know if you can see it there, but this was property of the Pikes Peak Library District of Colorado Springs, Colorado. There's also a cool little stamp now too saying no longer property of the library. So in case I get caught with this book, no one thinks I stole it. But yeah, it's actually in really good shape. It's well worn, but none of the pages have fallen out or are missing. The binding's held together really nicely, which I was actually kind of surprised. When I purchased it, I didn't know it was a library book. I was just like, in good shape. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll take a chance. Most stuff I've bought EP that's worn or in good shape works out good. When I did get it, because it was a library book, it was covered in this like protective plastic. So I had to take an X-Acto knife and carefully cut that away. But the inside and back cover have this stuff that's glued in there where it started. So it's like multi-layered. It was kind of weird, but yeah, I got that off and it's pretty good. What I like about this is because it's so well read, it's kind of showing me how well this collection was put together in terms of just quality of the binding and stuff. So I'm pretty excited for that. Should last a long time. Then finally, I picked up this beauty. This is actually probably the reason I wanted to make this video. I picked up my first ever artist edition for Empire Strikes Back, Marvel's collection of this. They originally did this adaptation. I actually have all these as single issues because I really like Star Wars, number 1, and 2, the artist Al Williamson is kind of like special to Star Wars lore. As mentioned, this is my first artist edition I ever purchased, so here's like a regular comic book in terms of just like to scale of how big this book is. It's officially the largest book I own. Not exactly something that fits well in a bookcase, but looks pretty good. So obviously this is The Empire Strikes Back, and this was made by Marvel, so this is the second adaptation they've done. Star Wars is huge at this point, so they go to George Lucas and they tell him like, hey George, you can have your pick of the litter of artists. Like, we know this is going to be a hot book. Like, who do you want? I think at that time, the Marvel Star Wars book had guys like Howard Chaykin was doing some of the art, but this is like the early 80s. So, the Buscema brothers are still there. You got Romita, you've got Al Williamson, you've got Sienkiewicz. Like, there's just probably one of the greatest stable of artists, era of artists, I would say, at Marvel. And he asked for Al Williamson, who did not work at Marvel or any big publisher. Al Williamson is an artist he got his start in like the 50s and 60s, so he's an older guy at this point. But he originally he got his start drawing the Flash Gordon comic. He took over for Alex Raymond, and Flash Gordon obviously had a huge influence on George Lucas. He wanted to make a Flash Gordon movie, couldn't get the rights, got turned down, so he kind of turned that idea into Star Wars. The rest is history. So he was like, I want Al Williamson because he drew Flash Gordon, and they convinced Al Williamson. Funny enough, Al Williamson was once asked by George Lucas to do like a daily Star Wars strip for newspapers and turned that down. I don't think he liked the format, but he got pulled into this. So this is actually pretty cool. You can see this is might be hard to see, but this is like total cut in. Like, he drew Obi-Wan and didn't know what Alec McGuinness maybe looked like or didn't have a good photo reference, and then went back, cut that out, and then pasted that onto the original page. But yeah, this came out at the same time as the movie, but it was made beforehand. So all Al Williamson has is Ralph McQuarrie's concept art, the script, and then some like photos of all the actors and, model sheets and stuff like that. So, all the vehicles, R2-D2, C-3PO, all this stuff looks awesome, like the Tauntaun and everything. All looks great. It's like he had actually seen the movie, which he hadn't. He had not seen the movie at all. Even here, like, this is a really good shot. That looks pretty good to Han Solo. It's pretty good Princess Leia. This Chewie is just like on point, but you're drawing a future. But I really wanted to get this art edition because, again, I have this as the single issues, and it's fun, but it's just you do not see any of this detail. All this detail you see here on the edges of this Star Destroyer are just like washed out completely by the printing practices of the time. But there's a couple of really cool pages here. You can see the first time that Yoda shows up. He's, again, there's no reference for Yoda because at the time they were making this, the puppet shop was still working on what Yoda was going to look like because they were filming the movie. So he just got the description from the script to work off of. And it's actually pretty good. He's got the little ears. He's got his cane. He's standing more. He's got more legs than you kind of see the puppet Yoda has. Look, like, this page is just amazing. Detail. Like, I can remember this from the actual single issue, which I probably could have dug out to compare, but it does not look that good. There's more shots of Yoda. You can see him standing, little haunches in a little bathrobe. Here he's chewing a stick. Here he's walking. Yeah, just some really fun, like I said, it's cool to see that he just had this script that went in and just did this. Some of these in later issues, they actually, like I showed you that previous cutout, they went back and did that. But some of them are just like, just leave this in. Another cutout here, probably just had a description of what the Emperor could have looked like, and then just kind of like, not quite Al, can you go back and change that? What's really cool with these art editions too is you get to see all little notes in the pages. You'll see some stuff here actually jumping ahead. This is a scene where Luke finds out that Darth Vader's his father. And again, this is a page where it does not look like all this detail you see where he's got this duotone put on the page is all washed out by the coloring and the printing. But yeah, you can see like his notes here. There's a nice page where they actually, I think in this next one, yeah, they told to fix some of the text. It's penciled in, so the letter will have to go in there and redo some of the stuff. Actually, fun note, Rick Veitch worked on this book as well. I think he did some of the inking. He did some of the background stuff. I saw an interview with him once, and he was talking about he drew some of the asteroids because there's a lot in some of the parts here. Let's see if I can find a fun asteroid page. So maybe something like this. Maybe Rick Veitch drew some of the space junk in here. You never know. But yeah, that's my first ever artist edition. It's a hefty book. Super happy to get it. It's out of print, so I had to hunt it down, and I paid an okay price. I was pretty happy with it. There's a couple artist editions I've tried to get. They're like just over like a few $100s, and I'm like, I just can't bite the bullet on that one yet. Maybe one day I'll ask for a raise or something. But that's it. Nice little bonus video. I'll probably do more of these as I get more stuff, because I do order stuff in between my monthlies. Just like, I'm reading an article, I'm watching a video about an artist or a book, and then I kind of get this itch like, I should really add that to my collection to keep like the history of it and be able to read it and borrow it out and lend it and show other folks. So expect more of these. All right, let's talk to you soon.